10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Manchester
1,
United have
0.
reached the promised land.
Well. Good morning, everybody. It really is a good morning. After last night with the under-18s winning the FA Youth Cup, after last night with Erik ten Hag sealing the Eredivisie title with Ajax, his third title there before he joins Manchester United. And now this morning here, we're coming to talk about Frenkie de Jong and the reports that exploded last night. I could have gone live last night. I personally decided against it just because it was a bit late and I wanted to see how they developed to this morning. So what I can bring you here this morning here on United People's TV is a complete roundup of the stories that broke, everything that's developed in the 12 hours since. But de Jong, I've said here on United People's TV, and I will continue to say, de Jong quite literally is the dream signing for Erik ten Hag at Manchester United. If we don't sign de Jong, Erik ten Hag will be pointing to a picture of him and telling Manchester United to sign the closest player to him. So hell, if you're going to try and do that, why don't you try and go and get him? Well, reports last night saying that there is a 95% chance. It's pretty high. Obviously, it is 5%. The 95% chance that he could be leaving Barcelona and joining Manchester United. I'm going to run through the full reports this morning and then run through what's been said since from Rob Dawson, from the ESPN, from Fabrizio Romano, who's waded in, Simon Stone from the BBC. We'll speak about that. Then we'll speak in detail about Ten Hag winning the title last night. Then we'll speak in detail about the under-18s winning the FA Youth Cup last night. Wow, what a 12 hours it's been for Manchester United. Real reason to be optimistic about the future. And the summer transfer window, it's not open yet, but the rumours are really circulated now. Good morning to Fred, Chris, take off in the comments. There's lots of you joining in. Andy, how you doing there? Craig, Josh, T, and the usuals. It's going to be a busy show this morning, so make sure you get your comments in down below. I'll try and react to as many as I possibly can. But I suppose Frenkie de Jong, seeing that, maybe that was considered a pipe dream for many. Whereas the reality is, and I will explain that in a bit more detail, Barcelona have to sell this summer. All right? It's not a question of maybe they will. They have to sell. And that's why we're going to speak about Frenkie de Jong. We're going to speak about Ajax, Erik ten Hag, and Alejandro Garnacho in the under-18s. But let's get straight into the story here. Make sure, as I said, throughout the stream, you let me know what your comments are, your reactions are, and I'll try and interact as much as I possibly can. But wow, it's going to be a busy show this morning, and for a good reason. It's a positive show. Let's be honest, we need one of those. So this is where the story came from last night. Gerard Romero, who is considered a very reliable source as far as Barcelona news breaks. This is what he said before the end of the league, and with a 95% probability, Frenkie de Jong will join Manchester United. It is purely an economic issue. Barcelona needs to sell a player who has not been top at the club, elite level. Be honest, like Frenkie de Jong hasn't reached the same heights at at Barcelona as he did with Ajax. Does that give you any sort of cause for concern? Or do you think it doesn't really matter because Erik ten Hag's coming in as our manager? Following on from that, the reports got deeper. It said Barcelona believe that if Frenkie de Jong continues at the club for another season and doesn't explode, they risk losing money on him. Now, they obviously pay, I believe it was 86 million euros that Barcelona paid Ajax for Frenkie de Jong. And we all know that he'd be an incredible signing. I go as far as to say, if we were to sign one player this summer, I'd probably say Frenkie de Jong. Either that or a proper out-and-out defensive midfielder. It depends what you think is more important, because Frenkie de Jong, inside the Ajax system, inside Erik ten Hag's system, you need a deeper lying playmaker and you need a ball winner. When those two work and combine perfectly, that's where you get the perfectly balanced midfield. But Frenkie de Jong, in terms of the Ajax style, in terms of the ten Hag build-up style, we need him. Whether it's him or not, we need a player like him. So I'll make sure that I cover all the stories here in detail, because this is something that I think every United fan should absolutely, rightfully be getting excited about. What's happened since these reports exploded? Jonathan Schrager, who some consider reliable, well, he waded in. He said, about Manchester United and de Jong, as of this moment, I'm told that agreement is not close, nor have serious discussions taken place. We go over to Rob Dawson from ESPN. He said on Frenkie de Jong, he's a player United like, but there's an acceptance. It will be a hard one to do. See, that's probably where I would semi-disagree, and I would explain that in a little bit of detail next with some proof. They would need to be in the queue if Barcelona did decide to sell, and Champions League football, of course. I think Champions League football is an issue. You let me know what you think would be the most important thing for Frenkie de Jong. What would be more important next season? If he was to leave Barcelona, hypothetical, two situations here. What would be more important to him? Playing Champions League football or playing under Erik ten Hag? Which do you think he would see as more important? I'll be interested to know what you think about that, because they are, let's be honest, if he comes to Manchester United, it's because Erik ten Hag is our manager. Simple as that. That is the foremost reason he would join United. And if you're looking at what City need, Fernandinho replacement, I wouldn't call De Jong a Fernandinho replacement, but he could be incredible. I hate to think what De Jong could do inside that City system. But yeah, man, I'm really, really excited about this one. I can't wait to do some content this week. Let me see what you're thinking in the comments. Rohan, do you think that playing under Ten Hag, Richie playing under a manager who has vision? I mean, Guardiola does have vision as well, right? Playing under Ten Hag is more important. Eric, lots and lots of you. Ten Hag is, I think De Jong's 25. Let me check how old Frenkie de Jong is. 24, 25? He can't be that much older than that. So look, 25, absolutely bang on. Oh, look, literally happy birthday. Happy birthday to De Jong today. Look at that. Majority of you think that it's more important, that Frenkie will see it as more important to play under Erik ten Hag than play Champions League football. And I hope that's true. I hope that's right. And then of course, we go over to the story getting deeper. This is from Samuel Marsden, who writes for ESPN. He said, people close to De Jong, even after today's stories, insist that it is still much more likely that he stays. It's a club who needs money before June the 30th. Okay. Then you got Simon Stone, who does get leaks from the club. He said, Man United do like Frenkie de Jong, and that's not a dismissal, but so do a lot of other clubs. Caution is being expressed. And then Fabrizio Romano came in this morning, and this is the latest update. He said, there has been contact with Manchester United, yes, but sources say there's no full or close agreement with Barcelona as of today. Barcelona's financial situation could affect Frenkie's future, but his priority is Champions League football. Erik ten Hag will push. Erik ten Hag will push. As I've said this, I've said this quite a few times now, and I'll say it one more time now, or just on this video. I'll probably say it again before the end of the video. He's the blueprint of the midfielder that Erik ten Hag will want Manchester United to sign. If it's not going to be De Jong, it will be somebody who has the profile of De Jong, who could be as close to De Jong as possible. But hell, if you're going to do that, you may as well go and try and sign De Jong himself. Bebo, you're saying, could he do it in looking to Remy Vita? He's a left back on loan at Barnsley, and he could looks like a good player for the future. Drop me a DM on Twitter, Bebo, my friend, and I'll try and take a look into that. De Jong was born when I did my A-levels. Woo-wee! Jeez. Good morning to lots and lots of you in the comments here. I said it's going to be a very busy show this morning. I'm looking forward to it. This summer's going to be busy for United, but exciting busy. This is the beginning of something new. And I tell you what, I think there's a real chance that Frenkie de Jong could join Manchester United. And I'm not saying that, look, because some people could say, you know what, Sam? I love it if United went and signed Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. I'd absolutely love it if Man United went out and signed Kylian Mbappe. I'd absolutely love it if United signed Kevin De Bruyne. Wow, what a signing that would be. But they're just like completely and utterly unrealistic signings. The sort of signings that only exist in FIFA and Football Manager, because those clubs are not sending them. Now, some of you might consider Frenkie de Jong in that category. And I'll show you exactly why that is not the case. Because one look at Barcelona's finances, and you realize how tricky their situation is. Yes, you've read that right. No, that's not a typo. That is a minus. La Liga sets spending limits on clubs. And theirs is set at minus, this is from March the 15th, by the way, minus 144 million euros because they spent inside the January transfer window. That means, now I'm going to dive into this in a bit more detail because I'm not sure if the Spotify deal and any other sponsorships change this situation. But Barcelona and their debt and the limits that are on them, they need to sell players before they reinvest. And they want believe they want fullbacks. I believe they want a new striker as well. They're quite stacked inside the midfield. And of course, Frank Kessie is going to be going there on, yes, I'm going to be building the narrative in my head, which makes it obvious. But Barcelona are in financial trouble. Manchester United, we've got a ton of debt. Of course we do, right? But it's a bit different to this one. We're not having the Premier League setting caps on what we can and can't spend. But they've obviously got Coutinho, who looks like he's going to be going to Liverpool. No, sorry, not Liverpool. Coutinho going to Aston Villa to play under Steven Gerrard on a permanent deal. That gets a huge cost off their books. They're going to have to do some serious cost-saving measures. And look, if you go into this is Dermot Corrigan from The Athletic. This is a situation. Persist or cash in. Barcelona's Frenkie de Jong dilemma. They really are at a crossroads with a player who has a serious value. How much do you think de Jong would cost? Right? You let me know what you think about that. 70 to 80 million euros is the price that we saw last night from Gerard Romero. He cost 86 million euros. How much do you think he would cost? And look, Kelvin would say, look, why would Frenkie de Jong want to downgrade? Barcelona haven't exactly been in the best of shape, and they're as much of a project as Manchester United are. So I would probably disagree with that somewhat, but it's not really. Of course, it's Frenkie de Jong's decision, and him and his partner, I believe, they just bought a big, huge new mansion in Barcelona. I believe they're happy enough there. But if Barcelona need to cash in, a player like Frenkie de Jong is going to be quite high up their list. And we're going to run through this Athletic article and again give more proof and more fuel to the narrative, which is the narrative I want, that Frenkie de Jong really could leave. Let me go down here and see what you think about his value. Jack, 65 million, 50 to 60 to 70. United could effectively here, lots of you saying around about 50 million euros. I think you'd probably be a little bit more than that. 60 for 150, says Mr. West. No, thank you very much. 70, 70. I think, in my opinion, I think the 70 to 80 million is probably a fair and reasonable amount. Right? Let me just see. I think I've been told there's another update. Let me see if anything else is happening. No, nothing there. Oh, no. No. Right. There you go. But the latest from Fabrizio Romano there saying Barca's financial situation could affect it. Now, let's do a little bit of a dive inside this Athletic article because, again, as I say, it's exactly what this is saying from Dermot Corrigan. I'll highlight a couple of points here. This I found extremely interesting. Before Tuesday night's game at home to Celta Vigo, de Jong had completed 90 minutes in just 13 of 33 matches under Xavi. Only 13. I suppose I haven't been watching Barcelona week in, week out, so I don't know what's going on there. I always consider de Jong a sort of key component of this future that's going forward with Gavi and is it Gavi and Pedri? Whatever the names are. They've got some cracking young players, right? But only 13 of 33 matches. And we go down here and we read a little bit more. Where is it? I highlight the club hierarchy. This is the very important point because, of course, when it comes to politics, things are a bit different in Barcelona with their elected presidents, and they're almost like politicians, and they have to keep fans on side because they need support because they're going to have to get voted in and voted out. So it's the clubs operate almost like political parties as well as they operate as football clubs. So they can't really go and sell what names they got there. Look, Pedri, Gavi, Arejo, who's just signed the new contract, and Suffice. They can't sell any of those. They're indispensable players, even if they've got huge wages, huge fees. But look, cashing in on other players in the market will cause uproar, while those who would like to sell are less likely to raise the kind of money that Barca need. De Jong and those around him are well aware of the situation. And his dad said this to AD, which is a Dutch publication, back in December. I know that Barcelona need money, and a big offer for Frenkie could help, but I don't see it happening. That's what his dad said. But it's that exact situation there. As a political entity, Barcelona, they're at a really tough situation where they need money if they're going to rebuild properly under Xavi. Who do they sell to get that money? Because as I showed here, they currently have a negative spending cap. Now, as I said, I'm going to do some more research into that to see whether the Spotify sponsorship has changed that somewhat. Maybe it has. I'll find out before I present its complete fact. But the fact of the matter is, Barca are in big debt. Barca need money. And that's why Coutinho leaving is a big thing for them. And why you cannot rule out Frenkie de Jong leaving, even if Barcelona didn't want him to. Ricky, what are you saying, sir? Kamara, de Jong, with de Jong and Van der Beek in midfield, Sancho and Fernandes on the wings, and we might actually start using the ball. Wouldn't that be weird? It would be weird. A bit like watching United win a game at Old Trafford. I mean, obviously, we beat Brentford. I'll speak about the under-18s and Ajax next, but we're going to focus on de Jong to start with. Now, Boubacar Kamara, of course, is available on a free transfer. I'm going to do a video where I'm going to be looking at some smart signings that I think Manchester United can make. And spoiler alert, Kamara's on that list. Lim, nice to see you there joining as a member, mate. Well, let me know where you're watching from. I'll try and give you a shout out. And Daniel, what are you saying, sir? I would love De Jong, but not happy to be giving him 300 grand a week when he didn't want to leave in the first place. I feel like we're being played here. Now, I think genuinely with De Jong, I think you have to treat it completely and utterly differently to any other transfer that could possibly happen this summer when it comes to Manchester United. That's how important I think he would be to Manchester United and to Erik ten Hag and the system that he intends to integrate into Manchester United. De Jong, I think De Jong's the key, or a player of his ilk. That's why I'm not like Tchouaméni alongside. In my head, I'm thinking about how much do you want for Declan Rice, West Ham? You want 150 million. Quite literally, you could probably get Frenkie de Jong and Tchouaméni for 150 million. 80 million. Right now, if Manchester United get on that phone and they go to Barcelona and they offer 70 million pounds for Frenkie de Jong, you really think they're going to hang up that phone? In the same way that if Jim Ratcliffe was to call Avram Glazer and says, here you go, I've got a 4.5 billion offer, you think he's just going to hang the phone up? No, he will not. Barcelona will not reject that call. They will take that into the board and they will consider it. Manchester United have got an advantage here. Not only can we take advantage of their financial situation, but we can take advantage of the fact that this is now our managerial situation. If Erik ten Hag was not our manager, this would not be a conversation that we would be having, But it is because he is. Erik ten Hag's our manager. And Frenkie de Jong is a player who was the key piece, the crown jewel inside that Ajax team. You could talk about De Ligt as being the crown jewel if you wanted to. You could talk about Ziyech if you wanted to. You could talk about Donny van der Beek if you wanted to. But for me, that man there, he was the key to that Ajax system that made it all tick. He's the deeper line playmaker that would drop to the left of the two centre-backs whilst the full-backs pushed up, and he would progress the ball forward. He would be the man that linked all the transitions. That hasn't worked out completely for him at Barcelona. And that's why, as Dermot Corrigan says inside this article, that's why Barcelona are at this crossroads where they either decide to persist with Frenkie de Jong or they cash in on him now. Andrew, what are you saying, sir? Saying, does a negative spending cap mean that they are forced to raise funds through player sales and sponsors? Also, the Champions League, which worries me. Yes, it means that for Barcelona to spend money on players, I believe I need to look into it. It's quite complicated. They've got like a 1-to-4 rule, which means if they were to sell a player for 100 million, they could spend 25 million inside this window. Now, I don't know how that goes down in terms of on the cash flow, whether you spread that over an X amount of years. It's clearly going to be a complicated situation. But the one fact that we have and we know is that Barcelona cannot match the spending power of Real Madrid. Barcelona are in £1 billion, I believe, worth of debt. Barcelona need to sell players to finance new players. And clearly that's going to be needed. Xavi came in mid-season. This is going to be his first summer. He's going to want to stamp his own identity on that team. And De Jong, which, as I said, that really surprised me, that stat there. He's only completed 90 minutes in 13 of Xavi's 33 games. That's not that much. And while I maybe would have considered this an utter pipe dream, circumstances dictate. 1 second there. OCD in me. Circumstances dictate that it really, really could happen. Now, what I want to do in the next couple of days, I want to try. If there's any Spanish journalists you think that I should be reaching out to speak to, slide in my DMs on Twitter. I've already contacted Dermot Corrigan from The Athletic. I've contacted Samuel Marsden from ESPN. I want to try and get somebody on here to speak about it. Because for me, De Jong's the key. If we're going to... I think I said if we're going to sign one player this summer, I said it'll be Aurelien Tchouaméni. I think I might be a hypocrite here. I think I might say Frenkie de Jong. Which is weird because I've always said that we need a defensive midfielder. We need both. We need both. We absolutely need both. That's why I keep saying that we need 2 central midfield signings this summer. Somebody of De Jong's ilk, who's the deeper lying playmaker, and somebody of Tchouaméni's ilk, who, of course, is the ball winner, the real physicality, but also with real ability in midfield. Those two, honestly, I need some new pants. De Jong and Tchouaméni. It feels like an insane pipe dream. I don't think it is. I think Tchouaméni is probably more likely to go somewhere like Real Madrid or maybe even Liverpool. Bastards. But De Jong. And I'll tell you what, right? In the comments now, okay, say that De Jong doesn't happen. De Jong doesn't leave Barcelona. Who do Barcelona sell that could raise as much money as De Jong that, as Dermot Corrigan explains, they could politically do? Because they can't sell Ansu Fati, they can't sell Gavi, they can't sell Bedri. Who else do you think they could sell of that value? I mean, is Dembele even signed a contract? I don't know the Dembele situation there. Tchouaméni joining Camavinga at Real Madrid is most likely. I reckon Real Madrid's going to be very high on the Tchouaméni list. Scares me, really, really scares me. Jason, nice to see you there, subscribing this morning, my friend. See, this is where's that comment gone there? It's not. It really is not. I want to say that. I'm not here spreading pure delusion. As I said, this isn't like trying to sign Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. This isn't like trying to sign De Bruyne from City. Barcelona need money this summer to finance Xavi's new look Barcelona team. Now, I know that they want De Jong to be part of that. But who else could they sell at that value? Let's have a look. Memphis, there's no way that Memphis goes for that much money. Dest, they've been trying to sell him for a while. Griezmann, is he still there anymore? Titi, Dest, Dembele, they've got a load of players who are overpaid, right? Nick, you're saying he's the only high-value asset they can sell. Busquets plays in his preferred position, and La Masia graduates, Nico and Gavi can play in his position. Of course, they've got Frank Kessie on a free transfer from AC Milan. Arguably, midfield is the one sort of position inside that Barcelona team where they kind of got strength already. And they've got Frank Kessie on top. I think they've missed De Jong, but I think they move on quite quickly without De Jong. Don't think you could say that about other big names inside that Barcelona squad that will be of that value. Of course, ideally, I think as far as Barcelona goes, they get rid of Memphis, they get rid of Titi, they get rid of Dest, they get rid of all these like 3, 4, 5 earners on the edges who aren't really part of their team, and then they don't have to get rid of Frenkie de Jong. But I think United have got a real position of power here. We could absolutely go in, as I said, with that offer, 70 million. And trust me, if Erik ten Hag had a list that he was giving into Manchester United, Frenkie de Jong would be number one on that list. Out and out. Frenkie de Jong would be number one. Not only because he would be available from Barcelona for the right price, but also because if you're looking at this Manchester United team and you're looking at what we cannot do, there is one core fundamental that we have never been able to do for years, which is at the center of Erik ten Hag's football, and that's playing out from the back with the ball. Possession-based build-up. We haven't done. We've been a counter-attacking team under Solskjaer for 3 years. It was all about quick transitions, getting the ball from the back to the front as quickly as possible with the fewest passes possible and use pace. That's how we played. Ten Hag does not do that. Ten Hag wants his centre-backs to play it into his central defensive midfielders, to play it into a deeper lying playmaker, to play through the lines, to play triangles, to play football. So United can't do that. We simply cannot do that with our current team. So whether it's Frenkie de Jong, whether it's somebody else, we will go after a deeper lying playmaking midfielder this summer. Maybe Ruben Neves will be there instead. But if you're looking, realistically, probably wouldn't be that much price difference, I don't think, between what Wolves would ask for Ruben Neves and what we could probably get de Jong for from Barcelona. But, man, this is going to be such an exciting summer for Manchester United. I don't think someone commenting down there saying, it's delusion. I do not think that de Jong falls inside the category of delusion. I mean, you can't not get excited about the idea of seeing that. I'll speak about that next. About the idea maybe of seeing Frenkie de Jong and Donny van der Beek at Manchester United next season. About seeing Erik ten Hag and de Jong coming to Manchester United next season. It's delusion to sort of think that we can expect this and expect it to all of a sudden we're Ajax 2018-19 under Erik ten Hag. To think that would be semi-delusional. But de Jong is available for the right price simply because Barcelona have forced themselves into a very dodgy financial situation. and it's Xavi's first summer at the club, and he could be selling De Jong if they look. As I said, if we go back to Fabrizio Romano here, saying, look, Manchester United have been in contact. Sources say there's no full close agreement, but Barcelona's financial situation, that is it. That is everything. And look, there's somebody down here, and I've seen this quite a lot, right? You type yes or no in the comments. Would you be happy if Manchester United were to sign Frenkie de Jong and Calvin Phillips as our two midfielders this summer? Type yes or no. I'm interested to know what you think about that. Jack, you're saying Frenkie de Jong will definitely buy into the Ten Hag project. There's such strong Of course there is. It goes beyond the player and the manager, the relationship that de Jong and Ten Hag have, because they all change from boys to men. In the Ajax team under Erik Ten Hag's coaching, he coached them into the players that they are today. And it is a different relationship and a different friendship and a different bond that Erik Ten Hag has with Frenkie de Jong. So yeah, I don't think it'll be a hard sell at all for him to buy into the project. And Champions League football, I think I'd be concerned about it, but I think that bond would be so strong between the two. I think he'd overlook it. And let me go down here and see what you're thinking about this. Well, I tell you what, there are so many comments coming in. I can't actually get them all on screen. I tell you what, that's pretty split. Very, very split. Actually, no, I'd say more of you are saying, I don't know. Lots and lots of you are saying yes, and lots of... I've got to say, that's pretty 50-50. Actually, no, more 60-40 no. More 60-40 no. Calvin Phillips, if you look at him, Calvin Phillips is just... He wins the ball, that's it. He's somebody who puts intense pressure on opposition. He wins the ball back, and that's it. But as a complementary partnership, could it work? I wouldn't say it wouldn't work, but I think we could probably do better than Calvin Phillips. That's what it strikes me as. Someone like Tchouaméni has all the characteristics of Calvin Phillips, but can actually play ball too. That's why I would like to get him. I'll tell you what, there are so many people joining in this morning. Please, would you consider dropping a like on the video, making sure you subscribe to United People's TV, because this summer's going to be intense, and I'm going to cover it in as much factual detail as I can here on United People's TV. I try to bring you insight, try to bring you news, factual news, and I try my best. So please, would you consider dropping a like on the video, because it really will make a difference to the channel. But that's for now. That is the Frenkie de Jong story. I'm going to do a video later today on Frenkie de Jong. That's going to go out at lunchtime. I do my live stream every morning. I do a video that goes out every single lunchtime. It's going to be a cracking video, and it's going to be a cracking few days. And I tell you what, it's been a cracking 12 hours as far as the future of Manchester United goes, because last night we all had big smiles on our faces, didn't we? We saw Erik Ten Hag. There he is, lifting the trophy, lifting the title with Ajax, his third Eredivisie title, and it's the perfect send-off for him. You saw what it meant to the players who were around him. There's a nice little video here. I'll pop this up on screen. This is Ten Hag said it. You don't need to hear. Anyway, it's just a load of noise. But that's Ten Hag celebrating with his players. He almost looks like an awkward uncle when he's dancing with them. But Ten Hag is loved at Ajax. Ten Hag has created a massive legacy at Ajax. If you saw Edwin van der Sar's comments about him, he goes, honestly, man, I thought you were a bit of a weird... Oh, look, there he is. There's the awkward dad dancing. That's basically me at a wedding right there. I cannot dance, especially when I'm drunk. But look, I'm so excited about what's coming up in the future, and this man is a part of it. Will this man be a part of it? Maybe. I absolutely hope so. But this man being at the helm, that really is an exciting time for Manchester United fans, and why we can head into this summer like dreaming of a brighter future. We really can. 5-0 winners against Heerenveen in the Amsterdam Arena. What a send-off. You saw the atmosphere was absolutely incredible. You've seen how oh man, I just can't wait for it. I cannot wait for it. There's one game left this season, one game to end the worst season we've ever had in the Premier League. And then this man comes in, a man who talks about you know what he said, the biggest, the most important thing that he's leaving behind at Ajax, a winning mentality. That's what he said. I'll tell you what, Jason asking here, Timber, if you watched that game last night, of all the games I've been watching, I've watched like the full 90 of the last like 5-6 Ajax games. Jurrien Timber is an absolute baller. Jurrien Timber is by far and away, if we're signing one player from Ajax this summer, we have to sign Jurrien Timber. Jeez, he's good. 20 years old. Wow, wow, wow. Absolutely, clearly top level player he is at 20. Schooled by Ajax, broken through under Erik ten Hag. If we're going to make one signing from that Ajax team, it should be him. He could make such a difference to that team. Wow. Absolutely fantastic player. Really, I'm definitely going to be doing more videos on him. But look, on top of all of this, man, and I could have started the show with this, and I could have started the show with any of it. That's how exciting the last 12 hours has been. But well done to our under-18s, man. Our under-18s last night in front of a record 67,000 plus crowd at Old Trafford. The last record, by the way, in the FA Youth Cup was 38,000. Nearly doubled it. Nearly doubled it. New record. Watched Manchester United's under-18s win the FA Youth Cup against Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford. It was not an easy game. United got the first goal. Reece Bennett, lovely little dinked-in cross. Bennett came in. Keeper probably could have done better. 1-0 United in the first half, but then we conceded just before half-time. I think it was Powell was the player who scored it. From the edge of the box, fired in a fizzing shot. Vitek, he kind of let it slip through his fingers. Both goals in the first half, let's be honest, keepers kind of, they could have and should have kept both of them out. Went into the second half, Forest was so physical, so aggressive, and they can feel really hard done by for the fact that the penalty that Garnacho won, the foul was outside the box. That's unlucky, man. I suppose that goes to show the power of VAR, right? You can get these sort of decisions that shouldn't have happened, but United got... I mean, if that happened against United, we would have all been furious. So I really feel for Forest there. Wasn't United's fault. That's down to the officials. But Garnacho stood up and he buried that penalty, man. He buried that penalty. And I tell you what, there's some more pictures of the celebrations, but this boy last night, this boy showed that he is a star. Look at this photo. I thought this photo was absolutely fantastic. Garnacho really, in the last 20 minutes of that game, when the backs were against the wall, when it was really tense, you could see that the players hadn't really been in that environment before. There was a lot of nervous energy. He really stood up and was accounted for. He buried that penalty, whipped out the Sue celebration. Old Trafford was screaming it, and then he scored the third. If you watched him, he wasn't ever looking to pass. He was looking to shoot at every opportunity, twisting the blood of the Forest defenders, and he bagged the third one with 4 minutes to go, roughly. Shirt was off, 3-1. Garnacho, he looked levels above everybody yesterday. I tell you who else looked very, very good. You can see him on the right-hand side there. Kobbie Mainoo looked fantastic in central midfield. He really, watching him run out with the ball at his feet, really good. Hansen, kind of a little bit Modric-esque in his physique and his stature. Kind of reminds me of Mats Muller-Dali, if you remember him from a few years ago. I think physically he's got some growing to do before he can come inside this first team. But that crop of youngsters there, man, I said this, right? Double champions. Last night, our under-18s won their first FA Youth Cup since 2011. The class of 22. Let's see who breaks through. That kid there, though, Garnacho. That really would... Let's look at what comes here. It's going to be very, very good. But then we've got a new manager coming in, Erik ten Hag, who has built his career on taking really talented youngsters and turning them into world stars. That's been the foundation of his success at Ajax. And you should all consider it really, really, really exciting that we've got our best crop of under-18s in a decade, according to the titles, and definitely by what you can see with your own eyes. They're a fantastic group. We've got our best set of under-18s coming from the academy at the same time as we've got a manager who's built his career on using academy players and using them correctly and turning them into stars. That really is incredible. It's a perfect situation for the future of Manchester United because things really haven't looked bright for the last few years. And I've said that quite a lot. I said it in my match reaction last night, but I tell you what, with a big smile on my face, I can say, you know what? The next few years, I'm excited to see what comes next. From the team I saw last night, Garnacho really stood out. Mainoo stood out. I thought Sam Mather had quite Charlie McNeil had a quiet game, was taken off for Hugh Gill. I wasn't really looking at the defenders too much, I'll be honest. But, man, the future looks very, very bright. As Tino says there, the future looks bright. Michael, I wouldn't disagree with this whatsoever. Mainu has just turned 17, man. He's just turned 17. But wow. I mean, physically, he's much, much bigger than anybody that age, and that gives him an advantage. Of course it does, but my does he use it? I'm not drawing the lazy comparison, but there's certain players that you watch at that age, and Pogba was one I did remember. You watch him at that age and you go, oh, he's too good for under 18s. There's certain players you just look and go, it's too good. That level, he's above that level. And Mainu, for me, looking at it, he's above that level. Whether it's he breaks through into the first team or he goes out on loan, I think he'd probably be considered too young for a loan. He's literally only just turned 17. But we've got Garnacho 7. Oh, man. My God. Look, stars could align here and lightning could strike. Look, stars could absolutely align. But for me, it's almost like the perfect storm. To have a manager like Ten Hag coming in at the same time as our academy is in the best position it's been in roughly about 10 or so years, it is a perfect storm situation. And that's why we can now, because we've had loads and loads of players and academy stars who have come through, and not all of them have established themselves. Marcus Rashford, Mason Greenwood, two examples of players who broke through into first team regulars, and Anthony Elanga this season, of course. But there really will be a couple more coming through, a few more coming through. Alvaro Fernandez is one I'm very much looking forward to as well. Ray, big up, Sam. To be honest, I'm actually excited for the summer of next season. This is a long time since I felt like this. You're not the only one, Ray. And I tell you what, man, it's going to be, there really is. It's not just blind optimism. It's not just, you know what? Maybe United will win the league next year, blah, blah, blah. You can look towards the future now. And I suppose this is why I've been getting so excited here on United People's TV, because I can see it. I've seen this bit by bit by bit. This is just another reason to be excited about what is coming next. Gungshi, my man, supporting the channel as always. What are you saying, sir? Saying, surely now Garnacho's chances of playing the first team have increased dramatically. Compare his skill, energy, and confidence with the way Rashford has been playing this season. Well, that's like comparing chalk and cheese, really. Garnacho, it's in that last 20 minutes last night when it was 1-1, when everybody was sort of cowering in that atmosphere, he thrived in it. He really thrived in it. And that's why I like this photo so much. I think this photo is absolutely incredible. Just hands up, everybody looking at him. Look, you can almost see it in sort of the adulation that some of the other players have by looking at him. Garnacho is the star of that team. Before the game started, he came and he was given the Jimmy Murphy Academy Player of the Year award. All eyes were on him. In the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of, in the biggest crowd the FA Youth Cup has ever seen, on the biggest stage of his career so far, and he won man of the match. He scored the penalty. He scored the third goal. 2 goals. Wow. Absolute star of the show. And it was a very, very tentative game. Tentative might be the wrong way to describe it, because it was kind of end-to-end, but it was a tight game. Nottingham Forest, by the way, their future looks very bright as well. I feel really sorry for them that the ref gave that as a penalty instead of a free kick, which they rightly should have done. That's not down to Manchester United, all these players. And he absolutely lived up to expectation, Garnacho. Really, he's turned into a star last night. That was a real bit of progress. And I can't wait to see him during the preseason. I'm going to answer plenty of your comments here. If you've got anything you want to ask me, fire it in the comments. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider dropping a like on the video. It will make such a difference. Subscribe if you're new and send in a super chat as well, and I'll answer that. Let me go down here and see what you're saying. New to the channel, what do you think of Johnson from the Johnson? Was it Johnson and Powell? I think both of them looked very, very good last night. Forest, very, very physical. United was struggling at points, and that's why Hansen couldn't really get in the game that much. He was getting tracked back and shoved off the ball quite easily. I wouldn't go as far as saying that. I mean, you can do if you want, but what we have to make sure we do with Garnacho, what we have to make sure we do with any, and that's why I didn't want to draw the Mainu and the Pogba comparisons. I'm only saying that Pogba comparison simply because I remember watching Pogba in the under-18s, and you just looked at him and went, hey, he's way too good for under-18s. That's the only comparison I would draw with Mainu and Pogba and say, look, he's obviously way too good for that level. He needs to be accelerated through the ranks. But Garnacho is V1 of Garnacho. He's not the new Ronaldo. He's version 1 of Garnacho. He's his own entity, his own footballer, and he'll create his own legacy over his career. But I tell you what, man, that is one very exciting attacking, exciting. I'm just losing my words now. I'm very excited to see what he can do. Really, really is. And you're saying, speaking of De Jong, we can't understate the importance of Ten Hag having a player he knows and trusts at the heart of the team. But that's what I've said all along. That's why I would probably give more credence to the idea that Donny van der Beek would play more of a central role under Erik ten Hag, because he needs his generals on the pitch for him to implement this system. And he will implement this system. It's not a case of he'll come in and then bend the system to suit the players. It won't be like, no, you can't do it. Out you go. You can't do it. Out you go. You can do it. In you come. So having players like De Jong, Timber, Van der Beek will make it so much quicker. So much quicker for United to start playing how Ten Hag wants us to. And that's a big, big thing. Because it's going to take time to implement this system. And De Jong, for me, could be the cog, straight away for the cog. Layden, you're saying, I'm excited for the pre-season tour. Pre-season tours, I wish they didn't happen. Pre-season tour, I wish we were just going to Carrington and training in Manchester for 3 weeks. No games, pure training, pure fitness. We would be far better off because of it. Where does Garnacho play? Garnacho plays on the left-hand side. He's a left winger. He's somebody who loves to cut inside. Really great with the ball at his feet. Freddie saying, new member here. Love to see you there, Freddie. Thank you very much for joining. Make sure you go into the group. And something I do want to apologize to all the Facebook members is I don't feel like I give enough back to you. And I'm working on this at the moment because Facebook isn't as built for creators, for stuff like this, as YouTube is. YouTube makes it a little bit easier to interact and with the members and give a bit more back to them. But Facebook, it's not as clean cut. So what I'm doing at the moment is trying to figure out a way to improve that. So don't worry, I'm not ignoring you. I am doing that. But Leeds are definitely going down. I can see you talking about Phillips in the comments. We'll speak about that. John saying a very good morning to you, all the Manchester United family. What a night at home. Absolutely. Oh, man. I'm just excited about what's coming next. I really am. There's no reason why you wouldn't be excited. Double champions. Under 18s winning the first FA Youth Cup in 10 years. Erik ten Hag clinching the title with Ajax. Maybe we'll see this man in. For anybody who's just joining in here, Frenkie de Jong, the stories exploded last night from Gerard Romero out in Barcelona, who's very much considered a reliable source as far as Barcelona news comes, saying Barcelona believe that if Frenkie de Jong continues at the club for another season and doesn't explode, his form doesn't take off, they risk losing money on him. Fabrizio said that there has been contact. Sources say there's no full agreement yet. But as I explained to you here, Barcelona have got a serious situation where they either decide to cash in on Frenkie de Jong this summer or they keep him and risk losing money on him. But they have to sell players this summer if they want to do Xavi's rebuild, and they do. So Frenkie de Jong is going to be absolutely top of that list. The comments today, so I say this as respectfully as possible. It's not particularly respectful. I do not give a shit. I do not give a flying fuck. 5 billion bid from Jim Ratcliffe incoming by all accounts. Absolutely, Jim. Come on, Jim. I think, again, we talk about pipe dream and excitement. The Glazers aren't putting the phone down if Jim Ratcliffe calls in and says, look, I've got 4.5 billion. You want to sell? They only spent like 780 on the club. You talk about getting a cash cow dividends, 10, 20 million a year. You can do the maths. 3.5 billion profit or 20 million a year. 20 million a year. I've already done the maths before. It's a lot of years of dividends that they could get in cash straight away. Sam, what do you think of Timber? Pap set for 40, De Jong 70, Anthony 50, Kamara free, Ericsson free. Oh my God, Jesus Christ, you're making a lot of signings here, my friend. Timber, he'll cost more than 40 million. De Jong 70 million. I think that's probably about right. Anthony 50. I don't think Ajax will sell Anthony this summer as well. Remember, they're losing Mazraoui, they're losing Gravenberch. I don't think Ajax will be able to cope with losing Gravenberch, Mazraoui, Ten Hag, Anthony, and Timber. That's a ridiculous amount to do this summer. But maybe they will. I don't know. I don't know if they will. De Jong and Ericsson, they're too similar. If we're going to get De Jong, we need a pure ball winner alongside him. Pure ball winner, which we don't particularly have at the club. Fred he could do that, but he can't do it as well as we need to. Tchouaméni. It's either Tchouaméni or a player of his profile that goes alongside De Jong, not Ericsson. What about the links this morning to about the Leipzig fullback? Was that Mukiele? I spoke about that yesterday. The Glazers have already started cashing out. 58 million. That's very, very cheap. Asan saying the under-18s transition to defense is better than the first team. That's a lot. That's better than the first team. Absolutely. Let me see. Apparently, Gerard Romero has been tweeting. Anybody, you can let me know what's going on. I'll try and react as much as possible. This is live. So live and direct, as we say. Let me see what he's saying here. 42 minutes. Oh, no. Nah, blah, blah, blah. Nothing really there. But look, I'm going to be doing another video on Frenkie de Jong later on today because I know not everybody can join into these live streams. Lots of you love them. I love doing them. I love interacting. But people enjoy the short 10 to 15 minute videos. And I'm going to do one on Frenkie de Jong and running through all of this and explaining exactly why, man. I know you might think it's a pipe dream, but there's far more to it than that. It's absolutely true that he could be leaving. We should start doing business already, says Call Me a Raf. But that's the big thing here, right? Ten Hag's won a title now. Because this is done, now we can get the party started. Ajax, the title has been clinched. Their last game comes on Sunday, but the title is already done. The party has already happened. Ten Hag, he's not Manchester United manager now, but he can afford to have more conversations. It can start. It can really, really get started. And I can't wait for it, man. We have to get started quick. Man City have already signed 2 strikers, Erling Haaland and Julian Alvarez. They've already got themselves sorted up front next season. Now they can just spend the entire summer hunting for one midfielder. And I tell you what, if we dilly-dally, that shirt could very well be blue. De Jong could absolutely fit inside that City system and could be incredible. I'm not even going to think about that. So United are going to have to move. If we're going to go after De Jong, it has to be swift. There's no waiting around on this one. All right. And I think we should go in with a 70 million offer. Let's go straight away. Barca, ball's in your court because I'm pretty sure we would win that conversation. Anybody's got any more questions in that last few minutes of the show? I'll try and answer as many of your questions as I possibly can. If De Jong went to City, the game is over. I mean, I kind of think it already is, but let's go here. Daisy, thoughts on Ghana? Ghana should absolutely be coming into the first team squad next season. Simple as that. But again, Ghana is somebody who's, if you're looking at where his position inside the championship team in the season, he's been better as a more attacking midfielder than he has been a sort of defensive midfielder. So we've got some quality in there already, but Ghana should absolutely be in that first team. Pecky saying, I listen to live streams every morning while driving. Got a rare day off today, so I can join in with the chat. Yes, Pecky. Nice to see you there, my friend. Eriksen will be a short-term fix. Eriksen would slot into a position where we've already got Bruno Fernandes, but we've already got Donny van der Beek. Eriksen doesn't tick it. Eriksen doesn't move the needle. Eriksen would be a lovely player to have. But we're fine there. We need different profile midfielders than Christian Eriksen. That's what I think. Where has the arms gone, my mate? The arms was closed, not permanently, but I stopped doing the pre-match shows. I'm going to start switching it to more members-only content, that sort of interactive one where you can jump on screen with me. As I said, I'm working on a lot of things. It's quite hard to do because I do everything. I mean, I'm sure you know by now, but I literally do everything on the channel. I make every video. I make every thumbnail. I do everything. It's all just me. So there's only so much time in a day. We also need free transfers and loans. Let's be real. That's why the idea of, Nordi Mukiele from Leipzig for 10 million? That's a pretty damn reasonable signing. Might not work out, but for 10 million, you can't really lose, right? That's what I think. What Ten Hag wants, Ten Hag gets. I hope we sign De Jong and Timber. That would be absolutely lovely. Who would be our star midfielder? Somebody's saying down there. I hope it's Tchouaméni. Hand on heart, I don't think Tchouaméni will join Manchester United, but I'm putting that down as a pipe dream. It's the dream signing in that position. Financially, I think we could get De Jong and Tchouaméni for the same price we could get Declan Rice, and it's a bit of a no-brainer. I mean, it is a no-brainer. But I think Tchouaméni is probably more likely to go to the likes of Real Madrid. And let's be honest, if City went in for him, he'd be perfect as a Fernandinho replacement. Absolutely perfect. Still all quiet on the Paul Mitchell front at this moment in time. Fingers crossed, though, because we're still hoping about that. What else are you saying down here in the comments? Jim Ratcliffe, there's nothing on there. Jim Ratcliffe, I did a video last week. Some people slated me for it. But, I mean, I think it was quite obvious in front of my eyes. Like, He's failed. He's winning really late with the Chelsea bid. I think the idea that he put that Chelsea bid into as a carrot to lure the Glazers is a bit weird. You don't just put in a 4.5 billion bid for something if you're not willing to buy it. All right. I don't know, that narrative suits people, but it just doesn't. You know, Todd Burley could have, all of a sudden, something could have happened to his business, and all of a sudden he's got to pull out his bid. And then Jim Ratcliffe's got to buy Chelsea. And he's like, oh, fuck, I didn't want to buy it. That was only a joke. No, let's be completely realistic about this. He wanted to buy Chelsea, but he failed. So come on, Jim. Come buy your boyhood club, my friend. Come buy your boyhood club. Reckon we will go in for Adama. Do you mean Traore? I don't think we were going for Traore. Can De Jong be a future captain? Well, that will be down to Erik ten Hag. But he was captain at Ajax, wasn't he? Let's have a look. Is that a photo here? No, actually, no, it was De Ligt. My bad. I absolutely think he could be a captain, though. Tino saying, love the podcast, Sam. Really gets me through my day. Should check it out. Thank you very much, Tino, for that. Let me leave the link for the podcast in the description. Honestly, everybody who's helped. Oh, yeah, by the way, where's What Hump? Everybody, you need to help me find What Hump. What Hump left the review, and he won that post, not that poster, another one of those posters. But I can't find him or her. Might be one of them. If you are What Hump, you need to reach out to me because I can't contact you. There's no like button I can click to to do that. Name unknown saying, Sam, do a De Jong full story. I did a De Jong full story back in, was it December? Roughly, I think it was December. I might do the second one today. There's going to be a couple of De Jong videos coming out over the next few days because for me, De Jong's the transformative signing. If we were to sign one player this summer, I think it's Frenkie de Jong. Not only because of the player he is, but because of the manager we're getting, the system we're building, and the profile of that player. It's very, very exciting, the idea of it. John, I've spoken about Christopher Nkunku. I mean, I suppose it's a straight argument between Nkunku and Nunes and who you think's more suitable. I think we'll run through those. I have done a Nunes full story. I haven't done an Nkunku one yet. I was planning on doing one next week. I still will, and we can compare the two. But both of them, very, very good. Who's going to be the assistant coach? That will be Mitchell van der Gag, of course. We don't know who the second assistant is going to be. But I'll tell you what, wow. What a 12 hours for Manchester United with Erik ten Hag winning the title, with the under-18s winning the FA Youth Cup, and with the De Jong story exploding. The next few months are going to be crazy as a United fan. So make sure you please do consider subscribing to United People's TV. I'll be here throughout the entire summer. I'll be bringing you live and direct all the news breaking when it happens, and I'll do it as factually as I possibly can. As I said, I'm an NCTJ nationally trained journalist. I've done it all. I'm not just a charlatan. This is something I didn't realize I was going to build my own platform, but here we are. So I try to do things with as much integrity as possible, right? So make sure you please subscribe to United People's TV. I'll be back a little bit later on today. If there's any more De Jong rumors that come, make sure you subscribe to United People's TV because they'll be here first. But look, I'll do another video on the De Jong situation going out at lunchtime. If anything else breaks across the day, make sure you come here first. Oh, man, the next few months are going to be cool. I can't wait for it.